Hold on. All right. Yeah. And just a note that now we are at 9 o'clock. So take your time, but just don't read through the entire presentation. Okay. Say what you mean to say and just explain. Okay. Take 4 or 5 minutes only and explain what you felt about it or what you concluded, what your thoughts are.
Okay. And then are we also going to be doing the videos in this
Sure.
meeting?
If you keep it short, then I will have time to show your videos.
All right.
If your presentation goes 15 or more minutes, then we will not have time to show the videos.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're presenting a brochure that talks about a parent's guide to peer pressure.
I'm Gargi Kelkar.
And I'm Diya Gupta.
So what is peer pressure? As teens grow more independent, their peers play a more significant role in their lives. Naturally, teens are influenced by their peers because they want to fit in and be liked. This is called peer pressure. Peer pressure is the influence that members of your social group have on you. It's when people in a peer group influence others in the same peer group to do things they may be resistant to. Peer pressure is something teens face every day in school and at home, so it's essential to know how to help your teen deal with peer pressure.
So most people think of peer pressure with the negative, but can actually be positive. So good peer pressure can occur when a person is influenced by peers to do something that can be beneficial to them. And it occurs when a person is pushed to do their best and grow. Some examples are friends can motivate them, friends can convince you to run for president of a club, and they can also inspire you to participate in community service.
So there can be good peer pressure, but there's also definitely bad peer pressure and negative peer pressure. So negative peer pressure is when a person is influenced by peers to participate in something bad. And an example of this is like being peer pressured into doing drugs or drinking alcohol.
So I think we listed 5 or 6 ways to help your teen deal with peer pressure. So the first one is to teach your child how to set boundaries. So you can do this by teaching them to stand up for what they value and what they believe in. And setting these boundaries also teach teens right from wrong.
You can also let your child know that you're there for them. And a way you can do this is by like sharing your own experiences of peer pressure and how you dealt with them, just so that they know that like they're not alone and they can reach out to you for help.
Next, you can teach them to foster independence. So doing so is important because it teaches them to trust their gut and that it's not possible to please everyone and it's okay.
Another like strategy to help with peer pressure is you can give your child like a code word. So you can create a code word that your child can text you if they're in an uncomfortable situation. So just ways to like get out of peer pressure if they like don't really know how to get out of bad situations.
The final way to help your teen deal with peer pressure is to teach them to have high self-esteem and confidence. So children who have a lot of confidence and self-esteem are more unlikely to give in to peer pressure because they know how to say no and walk away from bad situations. They also learn the consequences that can come from their actions.
So now we have 2 interviews that Diya and I did. So Diya interviewed her sister Anya and I interviewed Ayush.
Yeah, so this interview is from Anya Gupta. She's going to be a junior in high school. And as you know, high schoolers can give in to a lot of peer pressure. So this is just one example. So Anya was out with a group of friends and everyone wanted to go down the slide called the Alpine slide. It's a pretty long slide that's going down a steep hill. So she said that she had a really bad feeling about going down the slide, but she ended up going down because she didn't want to miss out on all the fun or disappoint her friends. So on the way down the slide, she got hurt really badly. And this goes to show that you should always trust your gut, even if you don't want to do something first. She gave into this type of peer pressure because she felt the need to please her friends. So next, we have a couple of questions. So I asked her, why do you think teens give into peer pressure? And she said that I think that teens give into peer pressure because they want to fit in and show that they're not afraid. They also want to impress the people around them and they don't want to disappoint others. And then I asked her, what is one tip you can give out to teens to help them avoid bad peer pressure? And she said, one tip I can give out to teens is to help them avoid bad peer pressure is to say no and talk to a trusted adult or friend.
So I interviewed Ayush. So he's a sophomore in high school who recently moved to the US from India. And during his stay in India, he was negatively peer pressured by his friend into vaping. Instead of foolishly following his friend, Ayush realized that vaping was wrong and that he could get into a lot of trouble by doing it. He sensibly explained to his friend that vaping didn't make him look tough and it was seriously harming his body. When he realized that he didn't look tough, explains Ayush, he stopped vaping. This shows that you should always think before you give in to peer pressure. So I asked him some questions. The first question is, why do you think teens give in to peer pressure? And he said, because they want to fit in, look cool, and be liked by everyone. What is one tip you can give to teens to help them avoid bad peer pressure? And he said, think before you give in to peer pressure. And the third question is, what is one way you think parents can help their teen deal with peer pressure? And he said, teach your teen to be independent and to think for themselves. Instead of lecturing your child about the dangers of peer pressure, try to give them personal examples of things that have happened to you so they truly understand why peer pressure can be bad.
And that is the end of our brochure.
Excellent, excellent. Loved it. It's nice, crisp, and because it's a brochure, it's a lot of points with summaries crystallized. Your presentation also was very good. Any questions, thoughts, anyone?
So really, this is Anu. Hi, everybody. Namaste. So about peer pressure, it's a very good point. And the one part that Dia said was being confident and being able to say no. So that confidence will come, I feel, when there is clarity between, okay, what is right, what is wrong, or what is the correct way to go about it. So what do you think, how children or how teenagers or how can parents help their kids become more aware and more confident about who they are, what their background is? Every house, there are certain things we do not do. How to carry that whole baggage that they carry authentically, without having to deal with, I mean, peer pressure is everywhere, but how to find your center and not get into bad peer pressure. Do you have any suggestions on how parents can help? I mean, other than those 5 points that they were listed there, especially on this one, on the confidence part. Like, do you guys struggle with some confidence issues or anything where we can help out?
I
Identity.
guess to help build confidence, you want to show your teen that you're not judging them and that they can come to talk to you. And you can slowly start helping them build confidence by letting them do things by themselves so they can see how they feel. And to build their confidence, let them go out with a good group of friends that teaches them their values, and you can teach them your values too.
Okay. And I had one question on Ayush's interview. I could relate with it. One point he said in his interview was, don't just lecture your kids. So whatever I try to do with my kids, it might come out as lecturing. So what is it that I can do as a parent so that it doesn't come out as lecturing, but a true concern and the care that I have? I tell my kids because I care, I love them. So what will help parents so that they don't sound as if they are lecturing? What should we do that will make you think that, oh, this is not lecturing, they truly care for us and are telling us?
I feel like parents could like share their personal, I think this was said in the brochure, but they could like share more of their like personal stories and like so that teens have like a guide so they know like what they could do in the situation, like based on how their parents acted in a similar situation.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Thoughts?
Can you see the video?
Yeah, your presentation was short, so yeah, we can go ahead and, Gargi, do you want to go ahead and share your video?
Sure.
I will stop this recording, so